My daughter handed me a drawing when she was 6. A house, a tree, a sun, 4 stick figures. Completely standard stuff. Except one of the figures had no arms. I stared at it for a solid minute, wondering if I was supposed to know what that meant. Was it something I should be worried about? Or was I about to talk myself into a problem that didn't exist? Turns out, psychologists have been asking exactly that question and studying it for over 70 years. It's such a small thing, one missing detail in a crayon drawing. But it opened up a question I hadn't really thought about before. What if my child has been telling me things all along, just not in words? Children draw before they can write, before they can articulate complex feelings, and long before they understand their art might be communicating something beyond the image itself. For a child who doesn't yet have the vocabulary for anxious or left out or scared, a drawing can say it anyway, in color, size, and where things sit on the page. In 1948, American psychologist John Buck published the House Tree Person Test, a structured assessment that asked people to draw exactly those 3 things, then answer questions about what they'd drawn. Buck's theory: each element reflected something different. The house was thought to reflect home life and family relationships, how safe, open, or closed off a child's sense of home feels. The tree was thought to symbolize a person's deeper sense of self, their inner growth, resilience, and connection to the world around them. And the person revealed how the child saw themselves and how they related to others. The test has since been updated, critiqued, and refined by decades of further research. It remains one of the most used tools in child psychology today, not as a standalone diagnosis, but as one window among many into how a child is experiencing their world. Clinicians noticed children's drawings were especially revealing because children haven't yet learned to censor or intellectualize their inner world the way adults do. But here's the caveat every reputable researcher insists on. No single element of a drawing is diagnostic on its own. Context, pattern, and professional interpretation matter enormously. A child who draws a figure without arms might be at an emotionally difficult point. Or they might simply have run out of space, gotten bored, or been copying a style they saw somewhere. Both are true possibilities, and that's exactly why this isn't a checklist. Size and placement. Children who draw figures very small, huddled in corners of the page, often show lower self-esteem or feelings of powerlessness in research studies. Children who draw large, centered figures filling most of the page tend to score higher on confidence measures. This isn't absolute, though. Culture plays a role too, as we'll get to. Pencil pressure. Heavy, dark lines pressed hard into the paper are associated in multiple studies with emotional tension, anxiety, or high energy. Very faint, tentative lines are linked with timidity or low confidence. Children going through stressful periods, a new sibling, a school change, family upheaval, often show changes in line pressure before they can articulate what's bothering them. In 1970, psychologist Robert Burns and S. Harvard Kaufman developed the Kinetic Family Drawing, asking children to draw everyone in their family doing something together. What researchers found was striking. Children sometimes omit family members they feel distant from entirely, leaving them out of the picture altogether. Or they draw themselves far from a parent they're struggling with, or place a literal barrier between figures. Studies found children from high-conflict homes were significantly more likely to draw family members separated by objects or placed in different corners of the page. The armless figure I mentioned at the start. In isolation, genuinely nothing to worry about. Arms in drawing psychology are thought to represent agency and connection, the ability to reach, act, and affect the world. As a consistent pattern across many drawings, alongside other signs of withdrawal or sadness, psychologists note it can sometimes reflect feelings of powerlessness. But one drawing, no arms, totally fine. A pattern worth noting if it persists alongside other behavioral changes. That's the distinction. The sun and weather. Multiple studies have noted that the presence, size, and placement of the sun in children's drawings correlates with emotional warmth and security. Children who draw large, bright, central suns tend to report more positive feelings about home life. Absent skies, dark clouds, or rain appearing repeatedly can accompany periods of emotional difficulty, though plenty of children draw storms, simply because storms are dramatic and interesting. Ask any kid who loves dinosaurs, and volcanoes too. Here's where it gets fascinating. From a global parenting perspective, the patterns we've covered were largely developed through research on Western children, predominantly American and European. Studies comparing Japanese and American children, including Stewart and colleagues' foundational research, consistently find that Japanese children draw smaller self-figures than American children, not because of lower self-esteem, because of cultural norms around modesty and deference. Similar patterns appear across other collectivist cultures too. The meaning of a drawing is never fully separable from the world the child lives in. A tool developed in one cultural context needs careful adaptation before it can be applied to another. That's not a weakness of the research, it's just good science. The honest answer? Most children's drawings are just drawings. The human brain is very good at finding patterns and meaning, which means parents who read too much into one afternoon of art can talk themselves into a panic that isn't warranted. But if your child's drawing style changes noticeably, from bright, detailed, centered drawings to sparse, dark, or cramped ones, that shift is worth paying attention to. Not as a diagnosis, as a prompt for a conversation. Sitting with your child while they draw and asking open questions. Tell me about this person. What's happening in this picture is something developmental psychologists consistently recommend. Not interrogation, genuine curiosity. Often children will tell you exactly what's going on, if given the space and a prompt that doesn't feel like a test. I never did figure out what the armless figure meant. I asked her. She told me the person was flying and didn't need arms because arms slow you down, which is, honestly, a perfectly reasonable explanation, and maybe the most emotionally intelligent thing a 6-year-old has ever said to me. The real gift in knowing this research isn't decoding your child's artwork like a psychologist. It's permission to look more carefully, to sit down next to them, to ask, to notice shifts, to see the drawing not just as something for the fridge, but as a small, honest window into a world they're still learning to put into words. If this made you want to understand your child's inner world a little better, my book, Positive Minds, A Step-by-Step Guide to Mental Wellness for Children, covers the building blocks of children's emotional health from the inside out, with practical tools for parents at every stage. Link in the description. Subscribe for more research-backed parenting insights. And if you know a parent staring at their own fridge full of mysterious art, send this their way. This video provides general parenting and educational information. It's not a diagnostic tool. If you have concerns about your child's emotional well-being, please consult a qualified professional.